Good evening, Des Moines. Welcome to the Doc and Lefty program here on webcast1live.com from those eponymous studios on the north side of Des Moines. This is Lefty. As always, we're coming to you with the perspectives you love from the side you hate. And across the table, he's back from Christmas. The Santa was so happy with him this year. I got a feeling it's Dr. Petrosh. Doc, what is happening?
You know, a whole lot of stuff. Oh, my mic drooped again. I hate it when I get mic droop.
Me too.
I think you do too. It is so embarrassing when it happens, especially if you're going out live across the world like we are.
That's right.
So how's your Christmas? Everything good?
I can't complain. I got a blender and some socks. How about you?
You got a blender and socks?
Yes.
Man, your parents spoil you.
I don't think they're supposed to use them in conjunction with one another.
No, well, you can. It just doesn't work that well. Now, you were over at Mickey's yesterday? This weekend?
On Saturday.
Saturday. How'd that go?
I got to say, I
had as many people show up as watch the show?
No, I had a pretty good time. The folks that were there were fun, but about 12:30, about 3.5 hours in, I was starting to dog it. I got
Really?
it. I haven't played 4 hours in a while, and I didn't have the stamina.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's too bad because you're young yet. You should be running out. Between me and you, we need some, radio some musical Cialis.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
So, anyway, I cannot get Facebook to work. So, of course, we're going to go over today. You know, those crazy Bundys are back at it.
They are.
Did you read that?
I know a little bit about it.
Well, really?
Yep.
Well, I know. Well, we should compare how much we know to each other.
Okay.
So, hey, Maddie, can you have them go stop the vacuuming in the other room, please? So, anyway, yeah, they're cleaning. They're doing their job. It's just, we don't want them to pick it up on the mic.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Bundys are back at it. They have taken a remote outpost in the middle of nowhere.
Wildlife refuge.
Hostage. Not hostage. We shouldn't say that. But they have occupied it. And we have another, President Obama is skirting around the issue with Congress. We might talk a little bit about that.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other thing that we were going to talk about? China?
China, yeah.
Yeah.
China's got some problems.
Yeah, and so does the rest of the world. Anyway, well, I want to tell people about my Christmas. I went over and saw my dad. And in typical staunch Catholic fashion, you'll enjoy this story. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of a spur of the moment thing to go over there. I didn't get my dad anything because, honest to goodness, the guy's got everything you could ever want. He's got an elder son that dotes on him hand and foot. He's got, a great place to stay. He's got a TV. What are you going to give a guy that has had everything in his life? And, what are you going to get a guy like that? So I just thought, it'd be nice just to go over there and see Dad. So during grace, and he asked me, well, how come you didn't get me a present? Well, what am I going to get you? That's the question. What did you want? So he really didn't have an answer for that. So during grace, right after he got done with grace, he said, and Lord, I want to thank you just to have Pat come over because even though he didn't get me a gift for Father's Day, and even though he didn't get me a gift for Christmas, we are glad that he is here. So I just want to say, Dad, thanks. I'm glad you appreciate the gift of my being with you at Christmas because, you know how those Catholics are.
I don't have any Catholics in my family per se, but I am experienced, yes.
You are experienced in that. Well, I can imagine being the lone wolf, agnostic floating around up there.
Oh, absolutely. But, that never comes up.
Well, that's good because, me, I'm confrontational. And
right.
you...
Not as much.
Not as much, but still fairly confrontational.
So I gotta say, I'm curious to know what you think, because we didn't put it on the rundown, but maybe we can start here. What did you get to watch the president's address about some of the executive actions he wants to take about guns?
I didn't watch it live. Basically, I YouTubed it. Yeah. So I did get to watch a little bit of it.
What'd you think?
Well, I don't know. It looks to me like it's a backwards gun grab. And I'm always worried that things like this are going to have unintended consequences, much like the Patriot Act. You know, things like this always go awry somewhere. And one of the things that I got bombed with this morning was now they can come in and take my records, my mental health records of my patients for a background check. That's one of the things that's in this executive order. And I believe that is a terrible precedent to set.
But that's been something that the folks that are pro-gun have been arguing about forever, right?
Well, yeah.
How else are they supposed to get them?
Well, the problem is how do you define mental illness? You know, somebody who gets divorced for whatever reason, and let's say it's a bad divorce, loses the kids or, you know, wife, whatever the problem is. Or let's say, for God forbid, you lose somebody you love to death or cancer. And you're in my office and we're talking about how grief-stricken you are. And it develops into a depression, which often happens. And you start getting treated with, you know, a medication such as, you know, Zoloft, which is mentioned a lot, or Celexa. These are great first-line medications. 5 years down the road, you're doing well, you've recovered, you're able to handle life again, whatever, right? Or maybe you're handling life fine and you just were depressed. You were just depressed because of these life issues you're now resolved. Now they're like, well, hold on. You had this episode of depression. I'm not going to give you a gun. Well, the two things are unrelated, right? Your right to carry a weapon is unrelated to any kind of mental health thing that you have.
Well,
I think as citizens, I mean, you don't restrict a schizophrenic's right to vote. You don't.
Well, I think, but you're making a schizophrenic, I don't know, would, I think that condition, I don't think a schizophrenic would be able to purchase a gun regardless, right? In a background check, if you have a diagnosis of schizophrenia, and you, especially if you leave it untreated or you have a history of leaving it untreated, I mean, those are the folks that, in my experience with mental health commitments, are the folks that the advocates and the courts and everybody involved, rightly or wrongly or whatever, are the most concerned with. They can, if they're left untreated, those are some of the, you know, not necessarily violent, but certainly unpredictable people. And a guy that who developed schizophrenia while he was serving in Vietnam back in the 70s, that's when it came to the fore, and thought that he was God, or thought that he communed with God and was going to strike down the courthouse. And the reason that and he was an older guy, obviously, because he's a Vietnam vet, and the reason that they brought him in to be committed back to the hospital was that he was walking around in traffic with no shoes on, saying, "You can't kill God." And is that the kind of, I don't think that kind of person, regardless of whether or not he got his records, I don't know that he would pass a background check on a firearm.
All right. With that, we're gonna go to commercial. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. You know, because we do believe more people than my dad and my brother Joe listen to the show. At least, you know, that's the hope that keeps us going. Mm-hmm. We're going to be back right after this break. We're going to continue a little bit more about President Obama's edicts, for lack of a better term, and we'll
executive action. I mean,
well, it's still an edict. And so we'll be back right after the break with this. Want to thank all of our sponsors. Bertrosian Associates, Lubinas Law Firm, Halo Capital at Des Moines Interest Rates, Des Moines Anesthesia PC. They have offices in Des Moines and Fort Dodge. They do anesthesia as well as pain management. So if you have an issue with either one of those, give them a call, 515-574-6442. You know what? I produced a new commercial and forgot to bring it.
Oh.
So follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Bing, several other things. YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. And so be sure to go out there and hit that. And follow us at docandlefty.com. We have new blogs out there. I promise. We'll be back in just a moment.